Can the Super Bowl be rigged? Big question. And there's a lot of people I've seen over the years trying to explain that it could be. But I've seen some things in my field of research where it definitely could be. So my field of research is mind control, brainwashing, behavior modification, and psychological manipulation. Now, I have a video in my possession of a researcher in the late 1950s, and he was working for the US government, and he was instructed to see if he could control someone's movements at a distance. And this is before these kind of things became sort of the subject of public outcry, because this scientist was doing the experiment in a popular amusement park, and he was using microwave radiation, what we call Wi-Fi, sort of like what controls things remotely. And people were walking in the amusement park, and he had manufactured this device because this is his area of expertise, something that could transmit microwave radiation at a distance. He didn't really know how it was going to work, but his job, for him to get paid, was to basically experiment on the American public without letting them know, which has always been illegal. And you'll find a lot of these experiments have been done. A lot of these types of experiments have been done. They're all illegal because you're not allowed to experiment on people unless you get their informed consent. Regardless, this gentleman was in a popular amusement park. He was hidden behind some smoked glass in sort of an area that was inconspicuous, and he would fire the microwave device in a direction of people that were simply walking by. And to his amazement, he was able to have them trip. Some of them would fall down, some of them would trip a little bit and then recover without falling down. Some would stop, some would hold their head, but basically he could interfere with their motion. And he was really taken back by it. He's like, okay, this isn't really that moral, and I never thought we would get this kind of result where I can definitely interfere with people's gait or their it seems he also noticed he could sort of affect them physically, even if he didn't affect their gait. Gait means walking, stride. Emotionally, he seemed to see them change as well. And he said, wow, this is not only immoral, but this is disturbing. This could be really used, if weaponized, against basically enemy combatants, both foreign and domestic. He knew that this had a lot of potential to be weaponized against the average person. So he went to his superiors and said, you know what, this doesn't really sit well with me. We're going to shut this down. He goes, what? The US government, of course, which is famous for this sort of getting smart people to manufacture these weapons and then sort of dismissing the smart people as they put together what the US government is really doing. So this man was dismissed. I'm not too sure if he was fired altogether, but he was dismissed off the project, and they just kept experimenting with it. Now, in relation to these huge new stadiums, I believe this latest Super Bowl 2024 is in a very advanced stadium, which has the capability to have, basically, it's just a Wi-Fi nest. It's an electromagnetic frequency nest. And people who have attended the Super Bowl in the past, especially last year, I think it was a very big Wi-Fi nest as well. They were complaining about neurological symptoms as they entered the stadium and as they watched the game live. So this group we're dealing with, there is no scam that's off the table. There's absolutely, I mean, look at the scam they pulled from 2020 to now. It involves a murder. There is no scam that's too big, too vast, too devious to pull off the table. Any scam is discussed by this group, and especially a scam where this group would get together and say, we're going to do, hey brother, how you doing? Good to see you, man. We're going to get together and profit, basically siphoning off resources from the slave class is sort of how this group, keeps people down and keeps themselves up. They really like to make people poor, one drip at a time, make them powerless, just makes them easier to control. The less strong they are, the less strength they have in the financial realm, or even in the physical realm, spiritual realm, intellectual realm, whatever weakens your victim, they're into. Because if you're weak, makes them look and feel stronger. So if the game is tight and all the group have been betting on one side because they said, we're going to make sure, and it wouldn't be an exact science, but you could definitely tip the odds. Sorry, guys. Walking into a nest of noise here. We'll get out of here. So it wouldn't be an exact science, but you could definitely tip the odds in your favor in regards to who's going to win the game. Because all you have to do, and you can imagine they had this device in the late 1950s, early 1960s, and it was making people trip up. And this man even said he would do experiments in the doorway, and people would if they couldn't get through the doorway, they would hit the frame of the door, trip over the bottom frame of the door. They'd walk into a wall. He was amazed. So if someone's going for a game-winning touchdown, game-winning field goal kick, all this group would have to do is use the most advanced version of this device, fire it at the wide receiver or the field goal kicker, and they're most likely going to miss that shot. Anyway, this is Jason Christoph signing off. Thank you for listening.